start this morning? By what I consider to be one of the most potent messages found in the Book of Love, the Word made flesh. And that is that God is all there is. Let me say that again. God is all there is. And if that is true, then all that we are is God. Can you follow that? Mm-hmm. We'll say it one more time. God is all there is. And that being true, all that I am is God. And I can hear your minds going click, 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 but what about? But what about? But what about? What about war? What about disease? What about misuse? What about abuse? What about poverty? What about? You put yours on there. Is that God too? I said God is all there is, not some. Not this is God and this is not God. This is God and this is not God. God is all there is. So everything has to be God. So I want to take a little time to see if we can clarify how that statement is true. Because if you can understand that, then when you pick up the Book of Love to begin reading it, you will realize that it speaks directly from the oneness that the statement God is all there is offers you. Okay? All right. Yesterday we talked a lot about our true nature and the laws that are inherent within our true nature as part of the creative process that goes on in our evolution. Speaking to the aspects of God as the divine law, the principle, we said that God is the law or the principle of acceptance, the principle of abundance, and the principle of freedom. We, created in the image and the likeness of God, are those three aspects. We are them, and they are constantly at work within consciousness of our divinity, within consciousness of our expression of divinity, rather. And that is where the kicker comes in trying to understand what the bad things are and how that can be God. But let's see if I can make what is truly a complex understanding more simple. Looking at the nature of acceptance, or the law of acceptance, as part of our divinity, then everything that we focus upon is accepted. Whether it's accepted as from a position within us of something that is a negative thought, an angry feeling, a loving thought, a peaceful experience. Are you following me? Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you get into that you are freedom, you are literally free to entertain whatever you focus upon. If you focus upon that which appears to be an opposite to the peace, love, and joy that you are as part of your nature, then you will, by the laws, reflect back into your life a negative experience. It's just the way the law works. But that's the perfection of the divine expressing itself, image and likeness, as each of us, each one of us. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Then you can see how when we decide to go to war with each other, that is the use of the gift of freedom as part of consciousness and who we are, making a choice to oppose each other. If you make a choice to oppose each other, to go to war, then that is what has been accepted. Whatever is accepted in our nature of acceptance then manifests itself after the image and the likeness of the degree of acceptance that has been put forth through choices made in consciousness. Got it? Okay. All right. So that takes care of that. So if you can approach the book with the realization, at least at the level of conscious choice, realizing that you, every single thing about you is divine, all the way down to the tiniest little molecule in cell. And it's influenced by what you think, what you feel, what you do, what you believe, where you were born, what your spiritual practice is not limited by that, but it is in what your experience is somewhat limited. If you make a choice for something less than the nature of being, working within the aspects of the law of consciousness. Is that clear?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I have a question. So how do we look at this without New Age guilt, as they say?
Well, you know, first of all, you would have to realize that if you're experiencing New Age guilt, give me the question again.
Okay. Let me reframe the question. I have a really good friend right now who just had surgery for cancer of the jaw.
Okay.
14 hours of it. She has lived a really good life. She's eaten good food. She's the most positive thinking person that I know.
Okay.
And she's just fabulous. And yet she comes down with this horrendous disease. And she does have freedom of thought. Perhaps there are things going on in her head. You know, are these diseases caused from these negative thoughts or whatever? And if they are, you know, a lot of people say, well, that's New Age guilt.
Well, if she has really practiced, you know, like you say, and taken care of her physical, emotional, mental, being aware of those negative thoughts that might be there, and by what you're saying, I'm assuming that she has.
Mm-hmm.
So on some level within herself, there's this question, what did I do wrong?
Right.
Or what do I need to fix here? But let me just discuss a possibility with you, and maybe this will help relieve her guilt and bring her, realign her back into the faith that she has had in all of these choices she has made. A couple of years ago in meditation, I heard a scripture that I have lived with for a long time, and everybody who's ever read biblical or the Bible will probably remember this. In the Bible it says, the sins of the fathers are visited upon the children. Remember that one?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It resonates.
In our oneness, from which this book speaks, the Book of Love speaks, in our oneness, that's how the sins of the fathers get visited upon the children, in that, say, in the ancestral linkage, we could have ancestors that were very angry, knew nothing about themselves as being the true nature of God. They were just into the fight or flight syndrome and their interpretation of what was good and bad. Those choices were made. So those choices are really not in alignment with the peace, love, and joy that I speak of, and the degree of acceptance, abundance, and freedom that we have as we use peace, love, and joy to influence those choices that we make. So it gets handed down from generation to generation. But sitting in meditation, what I heard was so beautiful, and it has gotten deeper in understanding in my own life, and it was the healing of the children is visited upon the fathers. So if your friend can take that in stride and look at perhaps, maybe, she might be being asked to heal some level of consciousness or bring some ancestral that has already passed over up to a higher frequency of peace, love, and joy. If she can do that now and let go of the guilt, because the guilt will contribute to same consciousness of those who have passed over and those that have given her lineage. That is a great possibility, and that was a very, very good question. Does that help some?
Thank you. Yes. Yes. What if the cause was something like environmental?
It could be too, but don't we influence the environment? So she in her individuation of the all that is, she is not alone. Everything she does affects every single one and every single thing, including the environment, just look at our planet, at the upheaval that has been going on for the last couple of years, because we are evolving, and everything that is unlike the true nature of the planet, the laws that govern it, the laws that apply to us as individual expressions of the divine, everything is changing. So it brings up everything that is not like what is giving birth. We are really now just fully awakening within the oneness. God is all there is. So everything we think, we are so needed. Everything that we feel, everything that we accept helps someone else. If I am lifted up, draw all unto me. That's the Bodhisattva teaching, the Jesus teaching. So it's very important for all of us to find a reminder of what is true. Okay.
Thank
What
you.
else?
Thank you. That sums up all my questions.
Okay,
in that
great.
area.
Right. Let me use you as an example, if that's okay with
Sure.
you, for another topic that I wanted to discuss this morning, and that is how can we, my question is, how can we possibly look at each other, seeing each other, you're sitting over there and I'm sitting over here, that's separation. How can we be one and the same, identical, and yet appear as separate entities? So I have a little illustration that I want you to play with me about.
Okay.
Just, let's see if I can go in here. Take one. She's drawing out a piece of puzzle, okay? And the rest of y'all can have a piece of puzzle if you want it. I found this little book, and I had an epiphany one morning when I was trying to figure out how do you convince people that they are one and yet individuated. And I found this little book I had bought for my granddaughter, and I hadn't given it to her. So it has, Ty, can you get pictures of this? See that? That's the book cover. And inside are individual puzzles for kids probably between the ages of 6 and 10. I'm right there between 6 and 10. This is the one I tore apart. Okay, so you have a piece of this puzzle. Every single piece of this puzzle represents the oneness that we are all. Everything that went into the matrix of making a puzzle is identical. The energy, the source, the substance, the process, everything is identical in every single piece. There's my piece. Your piece and my piece. Do they fit together? They may or they may not. Probably not. The odds of that fitting together exactly may not work.
Nope.
But they are of the same substance, right?
Right.
This is the oneness to which we speak. But in a world of form, as God expresses itself, it individuates by splitting out so that it can entertain itself with its own company, so that it can be a vital part of the oneness that brings us all together. And every time a one completely awakens to your individuality, your curves, your positions, and then finds its place of service and connects with all the people in all the world, we move back into our oneness, and yet we still are individuated. God is all there is.
God's the big picture.
God is the big picture. So anyway, thank you for this.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, if you're viewing this, did you get that? Get you a puzzle, put it together, take out some pieces, have a party, get some friends to pick their pieces out and talk to them about the oneness. Okay? What else do I want to tell you about the Book of Love? When you begin to read, because it is written from the oneness, it might shock the brain a little bit and want to negate what's being said. But if you'll stay with it, you will get the feel and the inner knowing that what is being read and what was written is coming from your heart, your essence. It is coming from the oneness within the puzzle. And we have been so afraid to accept fully that we are the extension of the divine in its totality, according to what the original design for each one of us is. And when you start hearing and sensing and feeling the power of the truth as you're reading it, something's going to change for you. And you may not be able to talk about how you know that you are, that all that you are is the presence of God in your individuated expression. You may not be able to talk about that because we've all been in denial so long. It's okay that we are something that God flows through, right? We've at least reached that point in our understanding in our evolution. God is flowing through me. Well, where is the me and who is the me that God is flowing through? Hear the separation? There's a me and then there's a flowing through of God. That is true. God is flowing through me, but God is flowing through me as me. And until we're ready to just embrace that totally, there'll be suffering because there'll be a sense of separation. All suffering comes from that sense of separation. The sense of separation impulses us to make choices in our freedom that are not aligned with the peace, love, and joy, abundance, acceptance, and freedom that we are. So don't be surprised if you wake up and you realize, oh my God, all that I am is the divine. Now all the I needs to do is to be still upon itself or within itself, and that which peace, love, and joy, abundance, acceptance, and freedom would have expressed and come forth, individuated as you, doesn't have any resistance factors then. You just are saying yes, or you're just listening to the silence of yourself, and from the silence, you're birthed and communed with the very essence of the puzzle pieces that holds us all together. You can dip into that. You can dip into those frequencies and get your truth and bring it forward, impulsing your choices. You are the love of God. Yes! And it's from that level that every one of these chapters and every one of these messages have come through. And every time I read it, I get like this. Because it's so different from the scared little girl. You know that one? Or the one who felt so alone all those years. And it's wonderful. You get childlike when you realize who you are. You get so natural and so spontaneous and so attuned to the moment and open to what is available in the moment. Infinity is available in the moment. And if our mind is out on some journey trying to find itself somewhere out there, when it is that which is looking at the journey. No, it just, all it starts falling away. All of this falls away. Yeah, I could use that. Thank you. We are not publishing some of this.
Okay.
Yes?
You have to get anything else.
Yes. Okay.
My question, let's see if I can get back to it. Okay, you're probably not familiar with the Borg.
The board?
The Borg.
Spell it.
I think it's B-O-R-G, but all Star Trek fans will be familiar with
Yes.
the Borg.
Yes.
Well, you're right. I'm not
Okay,
familiar
it
with
would
the
be
board.
very
But
connected,
maybe
though.
if I sit like you, I can do that.
I'm not the Borg, that's the fear. There's a concept, the understanding of joining the I, or accepting that part, or our matrix.
Mhm.
Can you talk about what it's like to rejoin the puzzle and what you identify as what's left of your sense of self, or what's left of your definition of I am Deidre, or I have been Deidre, or I have been. Who are you when you are in the puzzle, in the matrix? Do you know you? Or, I mean, you know you more than you've ever known you, but do you know you? Your history.
That's an excellent question.
Okay.
You probably should ask somebody who's there.
Oh, come on. I didn't only know about there from you. If you're not there, we've got to get in the car and leave.
That answer is from one who is truly enlightened. Okay.
Ty, you want to try it?
Okay. Let me approach it from this angle. For my own journey, stepping back into the puzzle has been like putting my toe in the water.
Okay.
Okay, so I would have a little bit of experience of losing total self-consciousness,
Right.
but waking up as peace, love, and joy. There's just peace here. There's just love here. There's just joy here. So there's not a sense of a me having an experience. There is only the experience having itself.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know that I have stepped back into that until I step back out of it.
Okay.
Because there's nothing there to claim as its own,
Okay.
as an object.
Okay.
Okay? So it's been gradual. Now I'm kind of up to my neck now.
Okay.
Because my brain is still functioning,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And I think that's good because it's kind of necessary
Right.
to have a sense of self, but a self that is not attached to anything. It is just consciousness. It is just, you know, there is seeing but no seer here.
Right. Is the return healing to that little girl? Does that little girl get healed by the return?
You know what? She does, but it's not as if there's a little girl that gets healed. It's like the presence before it ever got unhealed or sick or caught up in an illusion of something that's not true, the sense of separation. So it's nothing really gets healed. It doesn't heal anything. It just comes forth as that which is the truth.
Okay, so the question that I ask is in honor of all the people out there who are wanting and willing and stand on the abyss to make the jump. But the question is, will I know myself when I make the jump? So as someone who has jumped many times, when you come back, you are able to pull back into this matrix.
Yes, but without attachment to any concept or belief or opinion about myself or other.
Okay.
It's just total acceptance of whatever you are. I may not like it. There's a me that may not like it, but I'm not attached to having it be another way. I mean, so if some person in my life wants to act a certain way that is not makes a choice,
Right.
You know, because of the sense of separation in them. I can be there as, I don't have to say a word, and that helps them. But if I see them as separated from the divine, as making choices that are out of alignment, it's not my job to try to change them. It's my job to see who they are, who they really are. I see the little free child in them. I see the little free child in the angry person. I am able to forgive at the level of not even going through a process of forgiveness anymore. Everyone is innocent at the level of their truth, and if we don't start focusing on that, if we focus on the expression, and the expression is not the frequency of the complexity of the puzzle of the oneness, then we are contributing to the problem. And it registers in our consciousness first, if we see that, because of the oneness. The oneness in consciousness, if I see some negative aspect of your expression,
Right.
then I've identified with it first, and because of the oneness doesn't know how to differentiate that that's a thought about me or you.
Right.
So it registers in your consciousness first, and then if it can find a vibratory correlate in you that is of the same negative frequency, it'll register with you, and you will get worse.
Right.
Follow that?
Yes.
Yeah. So we just must keep skinny dipping. That's not in the book. Maybe I should say P.S. Please skinny dip. Oh Lord. And the joy and the spontaneity comes in. See, the spirit is so happy. You can't believe how happy Spirit is. Spirit is, and it's so excited to find its own instrument through which it can express and go skinny dipping.
Right.
Yeah. And you saw me cry a minute ago over. So see,
Yes, I did.
I can still feel the little child, but she's been set free, and so then the joy pops out just as fast as any thought even of what it was, what the experiences were in the past.
So she's here now.
She's here now, but there's no attachment. I can just watch her. There's not even any sadness there anymore, really. And there's nobody to forgive. I could list a whole string of things, that explain why I was the way that I was. And it was so-and-so's fault. If I had been raised so-and-so, or if I had been exposed to such and such. And, oh man, that gets so tiring and so old, and repeats itself in your life over and over again because you have the gift of choice. You are choice. So if you keep choosing to have a party with those a pity party,
Right.
then you'll have more pity parties.
So I guess
Law of attraction.
Thank you. And I guess when I was talking about the bulwark or jumping into the vortex, or what I would consider that the Book of Love will do for you is take you to a place that you described earlier that may be unfamiliar to you in the beginning, and that with time, with the book, then this new thing emerges, although it's unfamiliar, and perhaps it might be even too good for you to accept in the beginning. Because of whatever, then you're...
Yeah, that's fine. Take it, throw it up against the wall, I don't care.
But if you make the loop that you're talking about, that we would make, then at some point you might just say, I guess what I'm trying to say is that for me there was a lot of courage in that. There required a lot of strength and courage to make the jump, because you are saying, I want to be peace, love, and joy. I want to be peace, love,
I want
and
to
joy.
be true to my nature.
True to my
Okay.
nature.
That alone is coming from your true nature. It's interpreted as I want to be that. It's coming through as a yearning, that we were talking about yesterday, to be that, because it is that. And when the truth of our nature is not in alignment with itself, so to speak, then that creates resistance, and resistance the resistance will stop the flow. It will block the flow, at least to the degree that we are aware that we are in the flow. Okay.
Yes.
And so when that happens, I lost my train of thought.
I don't know, but I sure did love it. Thank tie.
Where was I going with that?
I don't remember. Give me some love. Just
But
cut that
I
out.
really want to finish that because it was
Okay.
good. It was a question. It was a good question.
Okay, we were talking about making the loop and not being afraid and allowing ourselves to make the jump.
And the courage.
And the courage and the strength to allow it to be something different than what you're used to. Maybe you would not be willing to accept that and be fearful.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes. All I ask you to do is pick up the book. That's all the courage you need.
Right.
Pick up the book. Realize that the yearning in your heart to change your life and to be aligned with who you really are has brought you to this teaching.
Right.
Read it. Because whatever you identify with, you become. And as you read this, you're going to be identifying with the truth of who you are and who everyone is. All of us. Each one of us, from the little suffering, starving children to the richest person in the whole wide world. In every way, we are all the divine. We are all the matrix of the puzzle pieces. And we are individuated with special gifts. Each one of us has a special talent and a special gift. And the divine of itself has created a world in which it can pick and choose and see itself in manifest form. This is all in the spiritual realm, not visible. And so in the creative process of creating this particular world, and God only knows how many others that we have never tapped into, it is creating life, experiencing itself with each individuated expression of itself. So choose this day whom you will serve. You want to be a king, you want to be a pauper. But you must identify, you can't break the law, you cannot break the spiritual laws. You are acceptance and abundance and freedom. So where in your life can you not accept? Whatever you cannot accept is what you accept. Whatever you cannot accept is what you accept. And if it's a positive, aligned with the matrix, aligned with the essence, aligned with who you are, the nature of who you are, then it will reflect its individuated, original design effortlessly. There's nothing to do but to observe it happening. And in that, the gratitude, the love, all of that automatically just rises because that's from the nature. And you then effortlessly live what was predicted in the scriptures as heaven on earth.
So if you had used the words peace, love, and joy in your life, and you had used the words acceptance, abundance, and freedom in your life, what I found with the book of love is that I actually get to experience the perfect idea of what those words mean. An experience, because that's one of the things that I found in communicating with humans, that they might use those words freely, but they might really not know those words. They hope for those words, or they.
Okay, but it doesn't matter.
But the book is a...
The book is a magnet to your soul.
Thank you.
It really is. Just reading it. It's your soul speaking from you. And it grabs you in a space of knowing, and you don't know how you know that this is true. You just know that it is. And so it's addictive.
Yes.
I will say it's addictive. And if you have physical addictions or mental addictions, this is a great book, because whatever you identify with, you get addicted to. This is the truth of who you are, and you will know that. And if someone else comes up and says, oh my goodness, you're getting involved with whatever perception they have of what you're doing,
Yes.
it won't bother you a bit. But you will know the truth. The truth will set you free. The truth is not a perception or a belief that you have or somebody else has. You will know the truth. The truth is the nature of your being and the laws that govern it. You will know that. You will just see it. You have worked long enough now with the concept of the laws of attraction.
Right.
You know how they work. You know
Right.
that. And so you are willing now to be silence's keeping. SILENC apostrophe S keeping, KEEPING. That shows up a lot in the book. So there's this presence that is you, that is total silence. And from that silence, your thoughts will emerge, and they will be very, very high frequency thoughts. They'll be more intangible as a thought than they will be a feeling, an experience, a wave, as we've heard you talk about, a wave. And that's the bliss that pulls consciousness into the vibration of bliss. It's not segmented thought oriented anymore. It's a stream of consciousness that functions as a wave of harmony and unity and oneness. Isn't it wonderful? Yes.
Yes.
And so your whole attitude is gratitude. It spawns automatically, because once we are aligned, the closer to the alignment that we get, then the more of the infusion into a world of existence, these frequencies move. And so you stand in awe of feeling bliss today when you've got maybe something negative going on as an experience out here in life. And I wake up every once in a while, having maybe the day before something came up and was going to require my attention, and it's something that I don't like to do, such as keeping books or something, and then all of a sudden I wake up and I've got to do the books today. That's what's on the schedule, and I'm feeling bliss. And there's no reason behind it other than I am the bliss of God. I am the bliss. Peace, love, and joy. Bliss spawns out of joy. Love spawns out of peace. Peace spawns out of love. You can't separate anything within the whole. You cannot separate it. Now, eventually, you will begin to have experiences of becoming the tree, being the bird in flight. At the ashram I visited several years ago, I had an experience in meditation of looking down into my ragdoll cat's eyes, and she drew me into herself, and I became the purr. I know what it's like to be the purr.
That takes me back to the board. You speak about that.
Oh, you did ask me what the board was, but you never told me.
No. I wasn't expecting you to explain it, but there is you say that with such bliss and joy. I'm speaking from a perspective of standing on the edge of saying, okay, she seems to think that's really good and she likes it. So, there's a huge level of trust.
I think we got this film the other day, but I'm not sure, when we were talking about trying to explain ourselves to ourselves as to who we are and what we are. That Alice in Wonderland quote, where she's looking up into the sky and she says, I can't explain myself, for I'm not myself, you see. I just love that so much. I guess that's because it kind of reflects my journey. I can't explain it. I can't put words to it. These are the closest words that I've come to know what it means or is or whatever. But they're not explainable.
Okay, so the it's not necessarily a question, it's a statement I wanted to make. And I just wanted to know if you find this to be true.
Okay, speak up.
Because of your journey and your path, there's a level of, for us out there who are following in your footsteps, what me, and I'll speak for a huge group of people, wish to do is to be peace, love, and joy. To be these things.
Just because they are.
Yes, to take away whatever it is that's keeping us from being that, whatever you would call it. What I've found in this book is that most humans use the term love. I love her, she loves me, I love the dog, I like the trees, you love me, you didn't love me before. As if love is something you can capture and then throw away, as if it leaves and comes and goes. Therefore, I find it to be true that 90% of who I know, in my experience, have no idea what it means to be love. Right. I can explain that in words to them, but that doesn't work. The book of love, the actual experience, of participating with it within yourself gives you the actual experience of knowing love, the vibration of it, the experience of it, what it is. If we all could understand that, have that experience, then perhaps we could speak the same language. Perhaps we could join the same matrix.
Bravo. Well spoken.
Thank you. I learned from you.
Yeah. So for those of you who still insist on working to become what you already are, let me suggest that you do a couple of things. Just set your intention. Intention is such a powerful mover and shaker of consciousness, or mover and shaker of what is not true to reveal what is. So set your intention to become aware of what you are aware of. Set your intention to become aware of what you are aware of. Realizing that you are awareness itself. That's a good word to try to describe yourself as consciousness. You are awareness. And awareness itself is never more than what it is or less than what it is. It is just always what it is. It's awareness. What you are aware of comes and goes in a moment. You can be aware of a positive thing one minute and a sad thing the next minute. Just like we experienced earlier, crying one minute and laughing the next. But that doesn't affect awareness. So that's your safety. You, as the divine expression of the eternal, is awareness. Totally safe, totally secure. It will always be what it is. It's part of the aspect of the nature of who we are, or the principles of who we are. You are consciousness itself. That can never change. What you are conscious of and what you believe in will change with the moment. Follow that? So once you start making your intention to be, you have to be present right here, right? If you're going to be aware of what you're aware of. So that would automatically pull you into one of the highest techniques or principles or steps in the spiritual journey of making a practice to be here now. I mean, that's the big teaching, isn't it? Well, if you put your intention on being here now, present to what you are aware of in the moment, that will help you immensely, and you're going to find a lot of positive things, especially those of you who've been working with affirmations and other stepping stones to awakening. You're going to be amazed at how many positive thoughts you have, how much awe you have, how much humble joy that is you. But then underneath all that, sometimes somebody will come in and just pull the plug, if you know what I mean. They'll come in and are able to somehow, it's just a tiny little plug, and it's like God had the finger in the dam, the dam of the water. You thought you were all so contained and everything was peaceful, and he pulls the plug out, and just through that one little hole, the whole damn thing explodes. But this is wonderful, because so much of our resistance, our shadows, if you will, are camouflaged by some of our deepest feelings and emotions that at a conscious level we're not aware of. Now that's been part of my journey, and I would assume it has been for you too. It's like the more you find, the more you find. But if you make the same choice that you made to choose what created the resistance in the first place, if you get involved with, oh my God, there's that feeling against my father, that old, I've forgotten about that. You know, if you make, oh man, I was so hurt by that, you know what I'm saying. That's going to create more problems for you. Just be joyful. You are so excited to find what was hidden under the bushel, because it was rotting you on some level. And you just get clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer until you become the living waters of spirit that are cleansing the soul at the deepest level. It's like finding a glass that's full of ink and then finding the purity of who you are, pouring it in that glass until it just overflows and overflows, and all of that which is not pure returns to source. Okay? And read my book.
Memories we shared together, moments no one else can know. I will keep them close to me, never let them go. Once you filled my hands with roses, then you gave your heart to me. When a kiss had followed this, love was meant to be. Time goes by, and the snow is drifting slowly in the sky. Cold night, as you lie beside me, I can hear you heartbeat. You have lost yourself in dreaming. I have lost myself in you. Now we lie beneath the sky, stars and midnight blue, stars and